Today's lesson is Emma Myers and the Power of Being Yourself. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Mike.
Let's continue talking about Emma Myers, shall we? We talked about her last time. She's an actress from Florida. And, of course, she was famous because she was in this Netflix series Wednesday, and she played a werewolf, which is a pretty cool role. Werewolves I usually think of as being male, you know, like an American Werewolf in London. That's an old movie from
Wolf.
Stuff like that,
Michael
indeed.
J. Fox,
but this is interesting. Why can't girls be werewolves? That would be pretty cool as well.
That's true.
So I guess she probably plays that role quite well, and that's one reason why she is so famous. And we also talked about the fact that she was sparked, or she actually became inspired to become an actor when she saw some behind-the-scenes interviews of The Lord of the Rings.
All right, so we're going to learn more about her and some of the other work that she has done, including another big production, a very popular hit movie from just this past summer. So let's get into our first paragraph.
After Wednesday, Myers showed off more of her acting range. In 2024, she starred as Pip Fitz-Amobi in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, a mystery series in which she portrayed a determined teen solving a murder case. In 2025, Myers appeared in a Minecraft movie as Natalie, a serious young woman who gets transported to a blocky dimension called the Overworld along with her brother.
大家好，第一部分看到片语 show off， 意思是展现或是展示。例如 The school play was a great opportunity for Ashley to show off her acting skills. 校剧表演是 Ashley 展现演技的大好机会。或是 I'm going to show off my dance moves at the talent show. 我要在才艺表演上展现我的舞步。接着介绍名词 series， 意思是电视或广播的系列节目、影集。例如 Pam enjoys watching comedy series because they help her relax after work. Pam 喜欢看喜剧影集，因为它们能让她在工作后放松。再来看到 portray 这个动词，表示扮演。例如 In her first major role, the actor portrayed a famous artist in a television drama. 在她第一次担任主要角色时，这位演员在一部电视剧中饰演了一位知名艺术家。继续看到名词 dimension， 这个字在科幻与动漫游戏中常译为次元，指不同的平行宇宙或是世界。例如 In many science fiction stories, characters travel to another dimension. 在许多科幻故事中，角色会穿越到另一个次元。
Okay, here's the first paragraph. It says, after Wednesday, after the Netflix show Wednesday, after she starred in that, Myers showed off more of her acting range. Now, here we've got the phrase to show off. That just means to let other people know what you can do or let other people know what you have. It usually has a negative connotation, like if you know how to juggle 10 balls or something at the same time and you do it to impress people, someone might say, oh, you're such a show-off, which would be one word. Here, show-off is two words. It's a verb phrase. But in this particular case, though, I think it's okay because, of course, she's a performer and this is what she's going to do. So, yeah, she let us know what she can do in acting. She let us know about her acting range. She can play all sorts of different roles.
Exactly. She demonstrated more of her acting range, or she gave us more evidence of that. And what did she do? What were the parts? It says in 2024, she starred as the wonderfully named Pip Fitz-Amobi in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, a mystery series in which she portrayed a determined teen solving a murder case. So there we go. I haven't actually heard of this show, but it sounds really interesting. I'm a big fan of murder mysteries, and certainly this character has a wonderful name. And so does the show, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. She's not the murderer or being murdered. She is the detective. She is the Sherlock Holmes, or the Miss Marple in this case. And it's a mystery series. When we talk about a mystery series, often, it's kind of a murder mystery. It's a crime show, and usually there'll be a murder, and someone comes in and investigates and finds the clues, and then at the end of the show catches the killer. and it's all very satisfying and fun, and we can kind of solve it along. We can play along with the detectives, the characters in the story as they try to solve it. And in this show, she acted as a determined teen solving a murder case. So when an actor has a job, has a role, what's your character? Oh, I'm Mr. Smith, the owner of the town post office or something like that. That's who I am portraying. That is the character I am going to pretend to be. And so she's the determined teen solving a murder case. She is the detective, the one looking for the clues and trying to catch the killer.
Okay, just last year in 2025, she appeared in a Minecraft movie as Natalie, a serious young woman who gets transported to a blocky dimension called the Overworld along with her brother. Now, I remember my daughter playing with Minecraft online. I guess it's an online game or something like that in which all the characters look kind of like Lego pieces, okay? It's kind of squarish. We're describing this as being a blocky dimension, which is a good way to describe Minecraft here. A dimension is just kind of a realm or a place that exists somewhere. It could be another world. It could be another dimension. You know, there are many different dimensions. Like there are 3 dimensions that we're aware of, depth, height, and width, etc. What are the dimensions of this speaker that you're going to listen to music with? Well, 8 inches high, 5 inches wide, and 3 inches deep or something. Those would be the dimensions. But here, it's just a different dimension, a kind of different world where she is transported to. She's taken there, and I guess it's kind of an interesting movie. Are you a fan of Minecraft?
I've never actually played it. I am very aware of it, but never actually played it. But I do remember when this movie came out, because the reviews were kind of, meh, it's okay. You know, your kids who play Minecraft, they might like it. It was a smash. It made millions and millions of dollars and was one of the top movies of last summer, at least in terms of ticket sales. So I think the expectations were quite low, but the audience loved it, and some of the songs even went viral and stuff like that. So she played one of those kids, and this was a, you know, if you're judging an actor based on how much money their productions make, this was a huge, huge hit for her. So, of course, that led her to get a lot more attention and probably another few million fans on Instagram. All right, let's take a break here, and we're going to learn more about some of the things that Emma Myers likes to do when she's not on hit shows and making hit movies.
Off-screen, Myers is a proud carrot, the name for the fandom of the K-pop boy group 17. She first discovered the band through a meme that used their song "Aju Nice" and has since attended their concerts, even meeting the members during a trip to Seoul. Regarding her favorite 17 song, Myers has mentioned her fondness for "To You" in interviews.
第二部分看到介系词 regarding， 意思是关于或是至于。举个例子 I sent you an email regarding the details of Friday's meeting. 我寄了一封关于周五会议细节的电子邮件给你。或是 See me in my office later if you have questions regarding today's lesson. 如果你对今天的课程有疑问，晚点到我办公室来找我。下一个介绍名词 fondness， 表示喜爱、钟爱。可以说 Tony's fondness for chocolate makes it hard for him to stay on a diet. Tony 对巧克力的喜爱使他难以持续节食。又或者说 I noticed your fondness for vintage furniture during the house tour. 我在参观房子时注意到你对复古家具的喜爱。
Okay, here in the second part of our lesson, we're talking about Myers oftentimes being described as a carrot. She is a proud carrot. That's the name for the fandom of the K-pop boy group 17. And if we're talking about fandom, I guess we're talking about the realm or the area or the world of K-pop, or people being fans of this K-pop group 17. Remember earlier last time in our program we talked about stardom. That's kind of like the world or the realm of being a famous person or something. So here we've got fandom. Again, that's just kind of like the area or the world or the realm of being fans of this particular K-pop group called 17. And she first discovered the band through a meme that used their song Aju Nice. and has since attended their concerts, even meeting the members during a trip to Seoul. Oh, that sounds great. If you're a big fan of K-pop, the opportunity to meet someone like that would be really cool. And indeed, it says here that she was able to find out about the band. She discovered the band through a meme. A meme is like something in culture or something that's passed around. It's usually on the internet, maybe a picture or a short video or something with words to describe it. When she heard that song, she thought, hey, I got to meet these guys in that band. I'm going to go to Seoul and have some bibimbap.
There you go. Yes, these Korean bands and some of their videos can go viral very quickly. This kind of attracted her attention along with many millions of other people since it became a popular meme, or these things that people share on the internet by putting their own captions on them or, changing the pictures to make them funny and interesting. And regarding her favorite 17 song, Myers has mentioned her fondness for To You in interviews. It's a big hit song, and this is when we're regarding her favorite music by this band. When we say regarding, we're just sort of in reference to or talking about that. So if you ask me, how was your holiday? I'll say, oh, it was great. And regarding the places we stayed, all the hotels were wonderful, except for this one, which was kind of dirty and disappointing or something. So on that topic, talking about that subject is how we can often use this term regarding to sort of introduce it or to kind of switch or pivot over to some other interesting topic that has a relationship to other things. So talking about or in reference to her favorite song by this band, she has spoken of her fondness, her appreciation, and her liking of the song To You. So in other words, if you express a fondness for something, you're just saying, I like this. It's my favorite thing. It's something I really enjoy. It's something I couldn't live without, that kind of thing. So when you talk about your friends, you're talking about, I like this person because ... You're basically explaining your fondness for that person, the reasons you like it, or just what you like about it.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the third and final part.
Emma Myers' journey shows that you don't need to be an extrovert to stand out. From a homeschooled child to a budding star, she has worked her way up in the industry through authenticity, determination, and a love for the arts. For students dreaming of acting or simply following their passions, her story is proof that you can succeed by being yourself.
最后看到第三部分 determination 这个名词的意思是决心或是坚定。例如 Alice studied every night with determination and finally passed the exam. Alice 抱着决心每天晚上苦读，终于通过了考试。最后一个例子 Nina's determination to finish the race despite her injury was quite inspiring. Nina 尽管受伤也要完成竞赛的决心非常鼓舞人心。
Okay, so we're wrapping things up with the third part of our lesson for today. It says, Emma Myers' journey shows that you don't need to be an extrovert to stand out. Remember, in our program last time, she was a self-described introvert, which means you're kind of shy. And so here, you don't have to be an extrovert to stand out. You would assume that people who want to be rock stars or famous actors are all extroverts because they really like being in front of people and they really like interacting with people. Although I think there are quite a few people who are introverts who are actually actors, like Robert De Niro, I guess, is really an introvert. People have a terrible time interviewing him because he's just so quiet. But here, yes, we're saying that you don't need to be an extrovert to stand out. You can be an introvert to be famous, I guess, because you put on roles or you assume roles and you're doing okay.
Absolutely, yes. You do not need to be, but of course you might have to get over some stage fright, some natural shyness, but often introverts may be more sensitive and maybe more in touch with their emotions, so that it might actually make them better actors or actresses, depending on their skills. It says, from a homeschooled child to a budding star, she has worked her way up in the industry through authenticity, determination, and a love for the arts. So this is kind of recapping her journey, her life story that we already learned. She was a homeschooled child. We talk about her homeschooling in the first day of our article, where she was taught at home. And so that was her beginning. And now she is a budding star. I guess you could say really she's a star, but she's still quite young. She still has a long career ahead of her. So something that's budding is sort of at the beginning stages, at the very beginning of its story or its journey. A bud is kind of the beginning of a flower or a plant or something like that. If the plant is budding, it is just beginning to grow and it looks healthy and it could obviously have a very successful future, but it's still at the beginning of all of that. And so she's worked her way up in the industry from community theater to doing some independent projects, television shows up to Netflix and then up to big Hollywood movies. That is to how you work your way up. It's not like she had a famous parent and her first job was, co-starring in a big movie. No. She earned her experience the old-fashioned way by beginning at the bottom and, just being good and getting promoted and getting other opportunities to do bigger roles. And she's done this through authenticity, determination, and a love for the arts. We know she did dance, community theater. We know she loves music. That obviously is a good demonstration of her love for the arts, many different types of art forms. And also through her authenticity and determination. If you're authentic, you're real, you're honest. People don't feel like you're putting on a show or you're pretending to be a different type of person than who you really are. What you see is what you get. I'm not putting on airs. I am not trying to impress you by behaving in a way I think you want me to behave. I'm just being me because that's all I know how to do. And determination. I mean, anyone in the arts has to have determination. You'll get rejected for roles. You won't get hired for things. You'll lose parts, whatever it is, and you can't quit. If you don't quit, you have determination. If you're going to get through the troubles and the struggles and not give up, not quit, not go home and say, forget it, I can't. No, you're going to stick at it. That stick-to-itiveness, as we might say, is just another way of talking about determination.
Exactly. So again, she worked her way up in the industry. You can't start from the top, so you got to work your way up in the industry. Of course, it's always a better idea to have connections and things like that, maybe to be the child of, let's say, Brad Pitt or somebody. You got a good chance. But here she came from Orlando and she was homeschooled, so she had to start at the beginning and work her way up. And she used authenticity and determination. She did not want to give up. Remember, she was inspired by the Lord of the Rings movies. And again, she has a love for the arts. And for students dreaming of acting or simply following their passions, her story is proof that you can succeed by being yourself. Okay, so it's a good lesson for all of us. Of course, sometimes people think that, hey, in order to get ahead in life, we have to sort of assume a role. We have to be somebody that we really aren't. We have to have sort of an outside appearance to impress people or to show off or whatever, and maybe we can get ahead that way. But she has shown that, hey, if you be yourself, you can actually succeed. That's not always true. I think sometimes if you be yourself too much, people might swat you on the wall like you're a mosquito or something like that. But in this particular case, I guess it worked for her. She was herself and she was able to get ahead. Okay, it's time now to listen to our beloved teacher, Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分提到 Emma Myers 在 Minecraft 麦块电影中饰演 Natalie。Natalie 是一位认真年轻的女子，与哥哥一起被传送到一个由方块组成名为主世界的异次元。文中她用 along with her brother 来表达与哥哥一起这样的语义。那我们就来整理这个片语介系词的用法。首先第一个是课文用法， along with 是用来表达连同以及和点点点一起。例如 Tim lost his wallet along with his ID and credit cards. Tim 把他的皮夹连同身份证和信用卡一起弄丢了。好，那特别注意，如果是用 A along with B 来当主词的话，动词是要随着 A 做变化。例如 Susan along with her parents is traveling to Europe next month. Susan 以及她的爸妈下个月要去欧洲旅游，所以这边动词配合 Susan 用 is。 好，再来看到 along with 还可以表达除了点点点之外还有什么，这时候意思相当于 in addition to 或是 besides。 例如 Along with the dress, I also bought a scarf. 除了洋装我还买了一条围巾。 那么课文第二部分提到 Emma Myers 最初是透过一个迷因而认识了 Seventeen 这个韩国男子团体，从那时起她多次参加他们的演唱会。文中是用 since 来表达从那时起。我们这边来整理一下 since 的不同词性及用法。首先第一个就是文中用法， since 可以当副词表达此后从此的意思。例如 They moved to Hualien 5 years ago and have lived there since. 他们5年前搬到花莲，从此就住在那里。好，那第二个 since 它可以当介系词或连接词去表达自从点点点以来，那么后面是要接表示过去时间的名词或子句。在这个用法中，主要子句常常会搭配完成式或是完成进行式。我们这边就造2个例句。第一个例句 We've been here since 7 a.m. 我们从早上7点就一直在这里了。句子里面的 since 就是当介系词，然后主要子句的动词时态是用到了现在完成式。那第二个例句 Tina has been doing her homework since she got home from school. Tina 从放学回到家就一直在写功课。那句子里面的 since 后面接了子句嘛，它是用来当连接词，而主要子句的动词时态我们是用现在完成进行式，用 has been doing 去表达。再来第三个，我们可以拿 since 来当连接词去引导原因子句，表达因为、由于、既然。例如They decided to go on a picnic since it was a nice day. 由于天气很好，他们决定去野餐。好，那以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾这些单字吧。
Series. I recently started watching a new series that follows the lives of 4 college roommates. Portray. Nicole was chosen to portray a famous singer in a play about the singer's life. Dimension.The movie shows the heroes traveling between different dimensions in search of a powerful weapon. Regarding. So far, there has been no clear answer regarding the cause of the problem. Fondness. Dalton's fondness for great cooking led him to look for work in the restaurant industry. Determination. Success often depends on hard work and determination, although luck can play a role as
well.Discussion starter starts now.
It's time for our discussion starter, everybody. Here's the question. What do you think has made Emma Myers so successful at such a young age?
Gosh, that's a tough question. I mean, we've just read a little bit about her. I think we'd have to talk to her family and stuff like that. But I think her success, has mainly resulted from the fact that she had a very supportive family structure. I think that was probably good. She was homeschooled, and as a shy, introverted kid, that was probably good for her too, avoiding some of the uncomfortable and, unpleasant social situations like being bullied at school. Personally, someone who owns the entire DVD collection of Lord of the Rings, if she watched all of that behind-the-scenes stuff, she got a full education on how to make a big Hollywood fantasy movie, because there are hours and hours of behind-the-scenes footage in that DVD collection. I've owned it for years, and I've never worked all the way through that stuff. So I think her determination just to sit through all that, and never mind what she could learn from it, I think that was probably a really wonderful education. And also, it's good to remember that many of those actors in Lord of the Rings, a lot of the young ones, like Orlando Bloom, for example, they were fairly unknown at that time too, so she might have gotten a lot of good sort of inside tips on not just acting, but how to handle a role and a responsibility like that at a young age. So that could have been really helpful for her.
That sounds like a very reasonable assessment, but to me, I believe she's achieved so much success already is because she is from Florida. Okay, there are a couple of reasons for that. Florida has a warmer climate there, so she probably had better opportunities to get to the theater and practice her acting. And also because of the presence of Cuban people there in Florida, because they've got a lot of that Latin spirit. And of course, she probably picked up on that. She kind of thought that, hey, I could be like them too, to have a lot of spunk and a lot of spirit. And also because it's so hot in Florida, she was probably inspired to drink more sweet drinks. And of course, if you have a lot of sugar in your system, you're going to have a lot of energy.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, so please make sure you join us again next time. For all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger.
See you next time.